It's now or never, running red lights, wild forever. One last shot, one last sin. Let the storm roll in, let the night begin. Yeah, we're out for blood tonight.
Good evening, my beautiful crime family. It's good to see you, a lot of you here tonight. This is going to be a heck of a show. We got a lot lined up. And yeah, I'm got to check a couple things here, though, first, before we get moving. Just let me look and take care of a couple things and check some back chat. Oh, God. Okay, yeah. I got two producers in the back right now, and that's Coco and Twat. If you could only, you think they're crazy out there in the comments, try and private chat in the backstage. Oh my God. Anyway, it's gonna be a good night, and it is Friday night, and gonna show a couple of videos tonight, but also gonna get in to the newer theory, and that's why this is kind of bigger, because there's some different things, actually quite different, because of information that we've been investigating, and you learn things, and it's like, oh wow, okay, and so your thoughts change on stuff, and that's the way it goes with this case. But anyway, I want to say first is I want to thank everybody again for the donations for my new computer. And I want to thank my son for building it. So the money went to him. But he built me one hell of a computer, I can tell you that. That's what he does, is build computers and sells them. That's one of the things he does, besides being a plumber and whatever. He works every day hard. Anyway, I want to say hi to my beautiful crime family. Love Tina, my girl, good to see you. And Elizabeth, good to see you. Angela, good to see you. Holly Berry, good to see you. Crime Spy, good to see you. What? Good to see you. And Love Tina, my girl, good to see you. Joey, good to see you. Deborah Gazzardo, my girl, good to see you. Jackie Bushable, good to see you. Yvonne Poole, good to see you. And Sliders. My favorite, of course, is White Castles, man. I can eat a bag full of those dang things. That was not, when I was drinking, that was like my drunk food. That's where I would stop on the way home when I lived in the cities. White Castle. Deborah Thompson, good to see you. Mark and Betty, good to see you. James Rowan, good to see you. Social Glow, my girl, good to see you. Kim B, good to see you. And Coco, my girl, good to see you. And Jackie Busherville, good to see you. Aggie, good to see you. Hey, Leo, good to see you. And the musical Shrubs, good to see you. And I appreciate you and Aggie's and everybody's emails. I really like the emails when you have something fresh and new to look at. I do get a lot of emails, people sending videos that I've already, between me and the investigators on this channel, we pretty much cover most of the videos. But sometimes you get some really good emails with some really good information, and yeah, and I thank you guys for that. Elizabeth, good to see you. Snow Leopard, good to see you. Reasonable Doubter, good to see you. Yes, thank God it's Friday. Christina, good to see you. And James Moen, good to see you. And Gannon, good to see you. And Carol, Coral, good to see you. And Moto Man and Max, good to see you. Delby, my brother, good to see you. Transformer Uplifter, good to see you. Aggie, good to see you. Ro, good to see you. And it's getting harder. And moving up. I hope I'm not missing anybody, but I probably am. Anyway, it's good to see everybody out there. There's a lot. That's the Holly Berry. Good to see you. There's a lot of chatting going on. So, Whirlpool Will, good to see you. Yeah. Well, man, you guys are chatting about Storm. So yeah, everybody that's chat, all my chatters, it's good to see all of you. Pammy B, good to see you. And to all the non-chatters alike. Oh, let me put the old chat on the screen. There you go, so y'all can see. Okay, I can't read private chat, people. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. We're going to be talking about a few different people tonight. And like I said, some of my thoughts have changed on what really went down that night. And well, okay, this theory is going to be a little more grounded, a little more common sense. I think that's what I'll call it. But first of all, I want to show you tomorrow night we have the beautiful Sue from Revelation Tarot on, and you can't miss that show because that is going to be one heck of a show. Now I'm going to show you a little bit of what she just put out. And yeah, I'm just going to show you at least some of it. Because who is she talking about? I wonder. Who is she talking about? Boom. Idaho Forest Student Murders. Jonah Chapin. Possible decoy. I haven't watched this, everybody. I mean, this came out 4 hours ago, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. So I don't even know what she says about Jonah. But let's take a listen. And where did we learn Jonah's name from? Right here on this channel. Showed you, and I'll show you again what he looks like. Everybody thought it was Jack Showalter with a mustache. This is Mr. Jonah Chapin. And that was before he was arrested on the 15th of November. And this is after he got arrested and was in jail, and he got a tattoo on his forehead. But that is him. That's Jonah Chapin. Let's take a listen, though, to, let me get this out there. And we'll take a listen to what Sue has to say.
Full series of readings, and I'm going to explain who I'm reading for today. But first, I just want to explain, yes, this video is public. It's not a membership only video for the first 24 hours. And the reason for that is I want to promote to all of you my live appearance on Tommy Jude's channel, Once Upon a Crime Time,
Oh, she's bugging
tomorrow
me.
at
Thank you,
10
Sue.
p.m. UK time. So, you know, I just want to make sure that all of you are aware of it rather than just the members. And I'm going to post the link to the show in the description below so that you can click on the link and save it for later. And you know, make sure that you turn on your notifications so you get reminded when the show starts. If you're not familiar with Tommy's channel, Once Upon a Crime Time, then please head over there now. Go and familiarize yourself with him. He's a great guy. He's a character. He's very passionate about what he does. And I'm absolutely honored to have been invited onto his show. So without further ado, we're going to get going with the reading for today. And actually, it was Tommy who's kind of influenced me into doing this reading today. And it might be someone that many of you have never heard of or are not aware of. The reading I'm doing today is on someone called Jonah Chapin.
This will be the last video I make for now. You know, I'm being threatened and I don't want to put my family at risk. What I'm about.
Don't be confused by the surname Chapin, because as far as I'm aware, as far as we're aware, he is no close relative of the Chapins. So who is he? So, I mean, there's not a lot of information about him except for his arrests and misdemeanors. So I actually managed to find a report which I printed out, and that was hard enough because it wouldn't let me save it. It wouldn't let me. It was very odd. It was one of those situations where you think, well, this is strange. Why am I not allowed? Why can't I save it? Why can't I print it? So I actually had to screenshot and then print.
That's weird. Really weird.
Regarding an arrest. It was an arrest that happened, I believe, in 2022. I'm not going to read the whole thing because there's a lot of information here. But he was with someone called Gage Lyle Forsberg. This is about possession of illegal substances. And Mr. Jonah Chapin was also arrested for having possession of Lentanil, shall we call it? Lentanil pills. Now, what I can't seem to find out is how long was he incarcerated for, because he is definitely not incarcerated right now. He's quite active on his Facebook account. You can go and check it out. His full name is what is it with my notifications? I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me turn that off. His full name is Jonah. He's got his middle name as well, which my mind's just gone blank. But you'll recognize him because I'll obviously have a picture of his face on the thumbnail of this video. But the reason I'm doing this is because there is speculation, possible evidence that he may have been involved the night of the unalivings, just to do with the Ruggs connection. I don't know what his connection is with any of the housemates, living or past. I don't know, but hopefully we're going to uncover some things in this reading and find out a bit more about him. If you try and do some research on this guy, it's very difficult. There's not a lot that comes up online. There's not a lot you can find out on the forums and things like that, but I've done what I can, and I think if you're going to go anywhere to find out more about Jonah Chapin, then you definitely want to watch some of the videos that Tommy Jude has done. So we're going to start with the Clarifying Life Situations deck. This is a psychic reading. I use I use oracle cards and tarot cards, and occasionally I get messages from spirit. I interpret these messages in my way, and you may interpret them in your own way, and I encourage you to do so. At no point am I claiming any of this to be factual. It is for entertainment purposes only. So let's go. Don't know which way that's going to go. It's probably that way. Okay. Wow. So the first card is stop and reflect. Pause in your journey to appreciate how far you've come and where you're headed. It's interesting that we have a picture of a snowflake as well on that card. But I do think the stop and reflect is something more specific about in the moment. What does he do now? It's like I need to react. I need to think carefully about what I do next, because if I don't, I'm gonna make a mistake. It's that kind of thing. Then we've got walking unscathed. You are fortunate. You are fortunate. A trap was laid out for you, but you were too smart to fall for it. Wow.
That's interesting.
That is very specific and also very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
This game, you're not ready for it.
I'm not going to speculate on what that's about, guys, but it seems to be quite specific. And let's just see it all fall into place as we draw the rest of the cards. So the next deck I am going to use is actually interesting. This is the Oracle decks, the 108 deck. Okay. The reason I picked this is because it's got lots of different keywords on each of the cards. So, okay, it's given me 3. So we have roundabout, community connections, new direction, keep it moving, controls the flow of information, solutions, circular reasoning, fluid, many working parts, perfect timing, redirect.
Many working parts. No
I'm
doubt
going to have to
about
unpack that, I think. Find out which bits I'm meant to be drawn to. Roundabout. Sorry guys, if you noticed a cut, it's because I had to just quickly go out and check, because I don't know if you heard a cat yelp then. I was just checking that my 2 were okay. There's something here about circular. There's something here with the roundabout. I've got circular reasoning. It's kind of making me feel like someone that's driving around continuously. I don't know if that was him, but having to keep moving. Let's carry on. We've also got happening now. The situation or event in question is occurring right now. So that is like getting a signal of some kind. It's like it's go time. It's happening now. And then we have it's time. Same thing. It's time for action. Things are fast-tracked to unfold quickly and smoothly. So those 2 cards very similar. that he was
Okay, so for those of you who have just come in and stuff, we're taking a look at Sue from Revelation Tarot, and who's going to be on here tomorrow night. And she is doing a reading on Jonah Chapin. And of course, that's where everybody has heard that name, is right here. And showing you pictures and explained, you know, getting busted 2 days later with Gage Forsberg. And that's what she's doing right here. We're going to listen to a little bit more, and then I'm not going to listen to, because she just put this out 4 hours ago. So I want people to, you know, go watch her channel on this too. So she's a very special lady, and she's got a very, very special talent.
Either he was given a signal that it's go time, or he was the one giving the signal. Excuse me. I don't feel it would have been him. I just remembered I had another deck. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to get it. I don't know how I forgot. This is a new deck. It is a yes/no oracle deck, and it's made by the same people that make the Clarifying Life Situations deck. So I'm actually going to save this for the end and ask a couple of questions depending on what comes up in the reading. So next we have the True Crime Oracle deck. Okay, it's a bit of an odd one. I've got caregiver. So the images of someone in a wheelchair, you know, being pushed by someone. So there's so many things that come to mind with this. Is this
Okay, so she is doing a reading on Jonah Chapin. And like I said, I don't want to get too, I'm not going to show the whole thing. For one thing, it's 40 some minutes. But another thing is she's going to be on tomorrow. And I'm glad she did that on Jonah Chapin. We had talked to her about him a little bit. Just asking her to do a reading on him. And she went right out and did it. So that was pretty cool. And I'm going to watch it. Like I said, I haven't even had a chance to watch it because I've been busy here today. So I will be doing that. Yeah, and that's her. Thank you, Debbie. And that's her deal right there, her link. And I do believe I have. Do I have it? Oh, I might not. Yeah, it should be in the description. I'm not quite sure. You should be able to click. You should be able to click on the things now, the links, I think. Oh yeah, I remember that. Best of Me, the wheelchair. I sure do. Yeah. Of course, a lot of channels made fun of me on that one too. But what we know from this case, and like I said, I want to be a little more, I want to look at this, and this is what I did for this show tonight. I tried to look at everything. Like step back and look at the whole fucking picture. And everything and all. Not every theory is right. So, you know, I mean, everybody's been down rabbit holes. I mean, I've in these almost 3 years, I mean, I've looked at, you name it, I've looked at it. from Linda Lane, tearing Linda Lane, Banfield, and looking at every person and investigating like every person. And just like the other channels out there that have done this. And so I wanted to come out, and after learning some new information, coming out with a newer look at things, just a newer look, well, older look, but a newer look. We're going to bring up, let me see here. Okay, Brent Kopaka. We're going to talk a little bit about Brent Kopaka. We're going to talk about a few people tonight, but we're going to talk about Brent Kopaka. Now, I showed you the other night how many cities and towns this guy has lived in his 36 years. And it's not even 36 years because he was in the service for 4 years. But he was very highly trained, but he was not a SEAL. I mentioned the other night he was a SEAL. He was not a SEAL. And he was moving around the country mostly with his stepfather, it seems. And his stepfather's name is David Dixon. I'm sorry, David Nixon. Oh, geez, Nixon. I'm not a crook. In 2004, Brent seems to have moved in with his stepfather in Rockford, Illinois. In 2010, stepfather David Nixon seen at Zach Kopaka's house in Pennsylvania. Now, we all remember the rumors that came out, and they showed this house, and it looked like a millionaire's house and all that. And they said that Kopaka had lived there. And that turned out to be false. But there is a connection, and that was the connection. It wasn't that he lived there, as others reported. They were there most likely to attend the funeral of David's father. So it'd be his step-grandfather. So he has Pennsylvania ties. So that's another state. And I counted, what was it the other night? 11 or something? 11 states. So I'll make that 12. Or was it 8 states, make it 9, something like that? I mean, it was crazy. In 2016, David, the stepfather, purchased a house in Rockford, Illinois, for $61,500. Fairly cheap. That was in 2016. 1 year later, in 2017, David purchased another home in Illinois, priced at around $104,000. Also located in Illinois, but this time in the town of Poplar Grove, which is only 18 miles away from the previous house he had just purchased the year before. In 2020, David purchases another house in Newman Lake, Washington, for an astonishing $398,500. So apparently, this David is starting to make some money. He's starting to make some money. And you can follow Kopaka around the country with the stepfather. Now, we're going to be getting into some stuff that is new about Brent Kopaka that you probably haven't heard before, or people were guessing and things like that. But we can kind of show you through his own words, to Kopaka's own words about some things. So then in 2021, David then purchased another home, this time in Pierce, Idaho, for $195,188. Most, if not all of these locations that David Dixon has been, Mr. Kopaka also has been. The researching on the mom is not done yet. Some facts here, and here's some facts. Brent served in the military between 2005 and 2009. United States Army 2nd Battalion 508th Parachute Regiment. Now, parachuters are very highly trained, and believe it or not, they're very highly trained, and they're highly trained and it's a 4th Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division. So he's on the combat team. These people are highly trained, and just like it says, combat. So they're highly trained in armed combat, man. You know what I'm saying? Man-to-man combat. I mean, this guy is a killing machine. He was awarded the Purple Heart for his participation. Oh my God! I can't even say it. Participation in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Not really sure what it was. Sure what it was he did to get this, but I'm still looking. Okay, anyone who was injured in the war was basically awarded these. Purple Heart is what is being talked about here. He was awarded the Purple Heart, so he got injured. He was listed as disabled from PTSD. And he might have been receiving checks from the military after he was out. I'm just kind of going through some of this here. Most, if not all, the same places that Brent has been seen, lived, or visited, so has his stepfather, David. Now, I haven't looked to see if Brent's okay. And that's what we got on some of that. But now I'm going to show you some things. Let me get this out of there. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. Which one is it? This must be this one. Yeah. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Get back over here. There we go. These are his emails, people, and we're gonna. And the reason I want to look at this. Okay, what's the very first one you see? Let me. Can I blow this up somehow? Where is that little thing? I don't want to find. View that. There we go. Oh, geez, they make me do that. Just zoom the thing. I'm not used to Microsoft Word again. It's been a while since I used it. I don't know why. Let's go. I think 200 might be too big, but I want you guys to see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Buy from Kopaka at yahoo.com. You guys seeing this shit? Are you guys seeing this shit? You guys seeing this? We're now believe that Mr. Kopaka, we always wondered why was he staying around the students? Well, look at this. Buy from Kopaka at yahoo.com. Brent K, 420. At least he smokes weed, right? Clear Fire at yahoo.com, meaning something's fucking amazing. Clear is a slang for meth. Fire is a slang to describe something fucking amazing. So here we got 3 of them right here. And here's another one. Clear Fire again, 6969 at yahoo.com. Clear Fire here. Oh boy, you had a Netscape? Wow. That's been a while ago. But as you see, we do believe that he was a dealer. And that would be the connection between him, Linda Lane, 1122, Sigma Chi. Those people knew Mr. Kopaka. Trust me on that one. They knew Mr. Kopaka. One thing I learned when I was doing a lot of drugs and I was freebasing cocaine every day is there's cliques, but you know everybody, but there's certain cliques. And I think anybody that's been in the drug world will agree with me on that. Everybody knows everybody, especially in the dealing community. But everybody knows everybody, but they're kind of cliquish. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody's got their own little cliques and people that they hang with. Okay, so you got Kopaka, that's a dealer. Then you got Mr. Kohlberger, who was a known heroin addict at one time. We knew he couldn't sleep. We knew he had visual snow. The problem is that we believe that Kopaka was a meth dealer. Just by some of the wording. And if he was doing meth and had PTSD, That's like a bomb ready to explode. That's like a bomb ready to explode. That is a trained killer who has PTSD and then doing meth. People have wondered, why does he always live by, why is he living by students? And some of the addresses we looked up, guess what? A university very close by. Now, this David guy who keeps jumping around the country, also the stepfather, could he be a cook? Could he be? Because I've seen meth cooks, traveling meth cooks, actually traveling meth cooks. I know he made a lot of money in a short amount of time, going from a $60,000 house to a $385,000 house. I think there was a lot of people in Moscow that were connected to each other. And not just in Moscow, pretty much all over the country. I think that there's this case is very confusing because of certain issues. And those issues, and you have to go by common sense here, is because there's a lot of people involved in this. And that complicates issues tremendously. And that's why, you know, you have like me and everybody trying to come up with different theories of what happened, and blah, blah, blah. Is because it is a complex case. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through what I feel happened, or could, let's just say it could have happened this way. But after looking at all of my theories and everything I've thought of, and I look at other people's theories, this one makes the most common sense because of everything that's been said and everything that's been done. You know, you have, and I'm going to tell you this, there was a lot of people I knew this was going to go down, because I think it actually started with Xana and Ethan. And we're going to get into that. Earlier that day, though, they were at the White's apartment, and they took that nice picture of the six. It's funny they wanted to take that picture, isn't it? Is that the only picture of all six? Isn't it funny they picked November 12th to do that? Anyway, I think it's funny. Weird. So they take this picture, blah, blah, blah. And there is a party there. Okay. Yes, there is a Jack Schneider, but I went, go read. Anybody that actually reads the documents know they're talking about Jack Showalter. It was Jack Showalter's house. Go read the fucking documents. Anyway, so later, you know, they end up at one party over at the sorority there for a little bit or something, and you know they're going their own ways. Kaylee and Maddie head out to the grub truck. There's a party going on at Sigma Chi, which, okay, that could be one reason why people didn't want to call police, because there's not supposed to be parties and alcohol at the fucking fraternity house. Period. They get in big fucking trouble for that shit. That's why they have these off-campus houses like 1122. And so here we go. There's been a buildup between Ethan and some Sigma High frat boys, and maybe even some sorority girls. And it started the October the year before during Ethan's rush. But it got a lot worse after Hudson Lindau's death. And okay. Kopaka's biological mother is Darcy Nixon, who was married to stepfather David Nixon. Okay, so anyway, let's see where the hell I am here. Grub truck. I know that right next door is the Moose Lodge, and then you have a hotel that the kids always call the Lodge. Now, we know about black backpacks ended up missing and all that, but I'm going to stay away from that kind of tonight a little bit. I'm just going to kind of get into this main thing, and what you're going to notice about this theory is it matches up to everything. Everything. You can go through the audio, you can go through everything, and it will match up. You can go through the documents, it will match up. As I've said, Zana and Ethan were taken out approximately between 2:15, 2 and 2:30, right around that area. 2:15 to 2:30. I said Ethan was taken out between 2:20 and 2:30. I'm still sticking to that. Zana real close by there, but they were taken out in the street, people, and like I'm going to show you a sound bite here. Let me pull this up. Where am I at? Is this it? No. There we are. Or nope, that's not it. This right here. Okay, so I got this. I want you to hear this. Now, what I did was I cut out just what I want you to hear for tonight. We've already listened to this, so I just cut out what I want you to hear. Hold on here. There we go. So if you, I hope you have headphones. If you have headphones, grab them. Or I hope you have good earbuds, because it's hard to hear. Yeah, go ahead. It's hard to hear just trying to listen to it on a computer or a TV. So anyway, I'm going to play this because what I want you to listen to is It's Brian. It's Brian. I want you to listen to this because it's going to, this is only a 5-second clip. Here we go. Did you hear it? I'm going to run it again. Right around here, that like 3 seconds or something, you're going to hear it's Brian. And first they say there's someone out there. I'm telling you, it's Brian. Okay. Now that's kind of important. That's kind of important because they're saying there's someone out there. They're not saying he's inside the fucking house. And if you notice, these people, when you're listening to this, you can't hear it really well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to be listening for it. Okay? You got to be listening for it. And that comes into play here in a bit also. Let me do this again. So there's someone out there. Out there is huge. In other words, he's probably in the fucking car. There's someone out there. I'm telling you, it's Brian. It's Brian. It's Brian. So how many people heard that? How many people heard it say it was Brian? Because that's important because he's outside in a car. Now I'm going to have you listen to something else. Joe P, you didn't hear that? Are you guys hearing? Did you guys hear that? Crime Spy did. All right. You, like I said, you need to have you can't hear it on a phone. You're going to have headphones on or very good earbuds. Geez, I cranked it up too. I went in and I cranked that shit right up too. Let me get this up. Okay, so this one is going to let me check the timing on this. Okay, so on this, it's at 3 seconds. So you got to listen fast. And I mean, I can hear it with my headphones. I hear this stuff like it's right next to me. Here we go. So here's what I want you to listen for. It says Kopaka is still here. Kopaka is still here. And it's at like the 3 second mark or something. This is only 4 seconds long. So like I said, get ready. Get ready to listen. 1, 2, ready, go. Kopaka. It's the last thing you hear on this. It's the very last thing you hear on this audio. Listen again. Kopaka's still here. Kopaka's still here. Now I want to see if anybody heard that. Christina, that's where we're going. That's exactly where we're going. So here you have someone saying Brian's out there. Then you have someone saying Kopaka is still here. It tells me that Brian's out in the car and that Kopaka's doing something at that time. What's that? Oh yeah, I could slow it down, Poco. Yeah. I was looking at what the. Okay, you can't hear it, Deborah. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I will slow it down. I'll bring it back up here quick. Okay. Dang it. You got to have it up there, I guess. There we go. I'm getting there. You know I'm slow. Okay, here we go. Oh, you know what? I can't slow it down on this. This isn't YouTube. I can't. I don't think I can slow this down. No, I can't. I can't slow this down. I'm sorry. I did slow it down yesterday, though. We listened to it yesterday, and it definitely says Kopaka is still here. And it definitely says it's Brian. So you have that. Now, we have 7 to 9 minutes. And Rory's channel, I showed it yesterday. Or was it yesterday? Or Wednesday or whatever it was. And we're the ones that came out with that on that channel. And it was him and I and Brett Norton, I do believe. That there's a missing 7 minutes, which has never been explained by any law enforcement or anything. That there's 7 minutes missing, and it's right by Kopaka's apartment. So there's 7 minutes missing where they don't know where Mr. Kohlberger is on the way to Moscow. And it just happens to be in that area where Kopaka lives. Then on the way home, when they say he's on his way home, again, there's about 7 minutes missing. Where? Right by Kopaka's apartment. We went over this, holy crap, a long, I mean, if you can remember Brett Norton and I and Rory being on together with the other girls, that's been a long time ago. So we have looked at this before, but things have changed a little bit when you start figuring out that Kopaka could have been a dealer. He could have been a dealer because of, I mean, look what his email said. Look what his email was. I mean, come on. I mean, 1 + 1 = 2. And that's what I'm trying to do, is make a little more common sense out of this crap, because they have never explained that 7 minutes, 14 minutes altogether. They've never explained it. Here's what I think kind of happened. So, well, I'm going to go over this stuff first, and then I'm going to piece it. I'm going to tell you it all, so it all kind of fits. Right now, I'm going to kind of be going all over it. But one of the reasons they could be wiping Kopaka's phone, because everybody knows Kopaka's phone was totally wiped, is because he called Mr. Kohlberger for a ride, and they did not want to connect Mr. Kopaka to Mr. Kohlberger. They didn't want that connection, people. Who do you think is the national security issue? What do you think the national security issue is when they talked about a national security issue? The national security issue, folks, is Mr. Brent Kopaka. He is the national security issue. He was very highly trained and did some very wicked missions. He is a national security issue. Now, don't you find it funny that he gets swatted out, and the day after he gets swatted out, they're pulling the day out, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so, or the day after. They're following Kohlberger. They're following fucking Kohlberger. Actually, at the same time, they started following Kohlberger. There's a thing, and you have Brett Payne that came from the same exact place in the military as Mr. Kohlberger or Mr. Kopaka. There is a thing where people, and this includes the government, wants to protect certain people from the military. Someone with a lot of knowledge about stuff. And again, if you have PTSD and you're doing methamphetamine, that is not good news. That is not a good thing. I'll do that in a bit. If you match up and you go listen to the Linda Lane audio again, everything will match up with this. And one thing I'm going to tell you is, again, and I told you this Wednesday, is that when you hear, no, get off, get up, get up, that is loud as hell. That is outside. That is not inside the house like those other voices. When we were just listening to those other voices, that's from inside a house. But when you hear Ethan screaming, that was outside, as I was told a long time ago by an FBI agent, and I agree with that. A lot of people got down on me for that whole video, laughed at me, whatever. I don't care, because they were taken outside. Period. And now I'm going to be getting into this in a bit. By the way, I do believe that they were taken outside, carried inside, and if someone says something about the blood, there wouldn't be that much when you're carrying a person, and the blood would be mostly on the person carrying it in. Okay. They could have made it the easiest way to make it look like it was done in the house. If they were already done or mostly done, remember there was slight crying, like a little bit of crying. I think that was when they were hauling Xana in. Or they hauled Xana in at that right around that time, Xana and Ethan. And she was still partially, she was whimpering, is what she was doing. She was whimpering. What's the thuds? That's them laying at least one of the bodies down. Now, Brian could have met Brent either through drug dealings or through research or at the party, at the pool party that it seemed like everybody went to. I mean, even Kohlberger went to the pool party. It seemed like everybody was there. He could have met him there. I'm not sure. And you talk about and things making sense. They said they had a CIA informant, but he wouldn't be testifying. And that's always bothered me. Why would you have a CIA informant that won't be testifying? That doesn't make sense to me. He would have to testify if he was an informant on the case. The reason he wasn't testifying is because he was dead. Because they swatted his ass out. But I think Mr. Kopaka is a very smart man. He was highly trained. And I think Mr. Kohlberger is very socially awkward and naive. And I think people take advantage of people like that. And I think Mr. Kopaka might have taken advantage a little bit of Mr. Kohlberger and thought he would stick this on him. There's reasons why I think this. And so you got them going around, right? And you got Kohlberger picking up Kopaka. But why? I'm going to start getting into it. Xana and Ethan leave the party around 1 o'clock. Now think about the timing because everything is going to match. They start fighting almost immediately on the way home. By 1:15, they're fighting. And Pete and somebody else is hollering and singing to drown out what's going on with Xana and Ethan. They get taken out between 2:20 and 2:30. Well, isn't that funny? Kaylee's phone calls start at what, 2:26? 2:36, something like that? I think, is it possible? Is it possible, common sense wise, if you hear a fight going on in the street, what are you going to do? Especially if you know everybody in the neighborhood pretty much. You're going to go out there and see what the hell is going on. So Kaylee and Maddie go out there. And, of course, they're seeing what's going on, right? They're seeing what's going on. And I'll bet you money Miss Bethany knew what was going on, and Miss Dillon knew what was going on. The dog got loose. Remember, they were walking the dog at what, 2 o'clock? When shit, because they fought for about an hour, a little over an hour, about hour and 15 minutes. That fight went on between Xana, Ethan, and whoever was doing it. whoever they were fighting. There is names. There is names we could name. But I think you know the players. I think we all know the players. Because there's many of them. There's going to be about 25 of them that seen and knew what was going on. Kaylee Maddie run outside, go outside to see what the hell's going on. Maddie's got her black coat on, her black jacket, and they take off running to go back in the house, and someone grabs the jacket and it comes off comes off her. They run upstairs and start calling Jack to help. They might not have known how bad it was. They might have just seen him laying on the ground or the fighting or whatever it was that they seen, but they seen something to make them call Jack 10 fucking times. Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's use a little brain. Let's use a little common sense. You can't tell me that they didn't hear this shit going on when we can hear it in a piece of shit microphone on a house. So what happens? Somebody calls Mr. Kopaka. There's somebody from Sigma Chi that was out there. Pick a name. Pick a fucking name. That was dealing with Mr. Kopaka and knew of his skills. And they might even offered money to Mr. Kopaka. I mean, the dude didn't even have a bed to sleep in at the apartment he supposedly was living at. They're trying to call Jack for help, to come and help Ethan and Zana. There's a phone call made. Now check out the timing. Look at the timing. Between 2:20 and 2:30, Zana and Ethan, 2:26 or whatever it was, the phone calls start to Jack. All right? And they end at what? 2:52, 2:42, 2:46, whatever the hell. Why'd they stop? Because somebody came up there and made them stop. But it wasn't Kopaka, and it wasn't Kohlberger. It was some frat boys making them shut the fuck up. And they held them there until Mr. Kopaka was dropped off. On my video the other night, if I have to, I'll show it again. Mark B proved that allegedly Kohlberger's car, this is what they're saying to us. This is what their facts are. I'm not, okay? These are their facts. Kohlberger's car, okay, took off speeding away. Well, listen to the audio and watch the upstairs on 1119 window. He stops. You can hear a door shut. And then it takes off like a bat out of hell. Why would Kohlberger take the fall? He's got a lot of respect. There's a few different reasons I think he did. For one thing, I think he didn't want his family to be going in there and testifying and all that crap. And he didn't want to have to testify or it be get known that he was an actual somebody involved in it as a driver. I don't know. I don't think he probably knew that it was going to be something like that. The guy probably just jumped in the car and said, floor it. And he floored it. The timing of that all makes sense. And if you listen to the Linda Lane footage, all of it makes sense to something like that happening. Then you have, check this out, there's so much more to this. There's so much more to this. You have the Banfield boys with one guy wearing Ethan's shirt that Xana liked to wear and her shorts on. Over some look like some kind of white sweatpants. Those were Xana's shorts. And that was Ethan's shirt. Why were they trying to get away, people? They seen what happened out in the street. They seen what happened to Xana and Ethan. And that one kid might even have kept that stuff as souvenirs, people. And wasn't Xana found in her underwear? I think that's what I read. What happened to her shorts? The runners are running back to 1119. That's where they're running. They're running away from the cops. They seen what the fuck happened. Those four seen what happened. That's who they should bring in. Right there. Is those people, right? Those Banfield kids. Because they seen what happened, people. They were witnesses to what happened. So you have these four who I've shown and proven who they are running by in the back of the police there, running towards the house. But I think they went to 1119. I think they just escaped the cops and went running. I think they didn't want to be seen by the cops, so they went behind them. And then it kind of around into 1119. Because what time was their action at 1119? Think about it. Think about the timing. This is what I want you to do when I'm done with all this, because I'm having a hard time explaining all this, because the timing just matches to everything. Those kids running at 3:12, at 1119, there wasn't much action going on there until like 3:30. Didn't even look like anybody was home. Maybe one person, but all of a sudden there's like 5 people, 6 people that you can see in the windows. So where the hell did they come from? They came from where it happened, and then they ran by Banfield and back up to 1119. And who was living at 1119? Everybody thinks that Mr. Loach was living at the frat house. He wasn't always living at the frat house. He was also living at 1119. And we've heard since the beginning of this case, 4chan, we heard from the beginning of this case that there was a problem between Ethan and David Loach, and Ethan calling him, saying that he had shriveled balls and all this because of steroid use. That stuff way back then, it makes sense. It makes sense. They wouldn't make something like that up. That isn't a made up thing. He was being teased about, Ethan was teasing him about that shit. But I think there's more to that even. If you bring into everything Hudson Lindahl. Because I think Ethan was very, very upset about that. Now, if they got into it again, which they did at Sigma Chi, Ethan might have threatened somebody that they were going to turn him in for the red rum of Hudson Lindahl. So they get taken out in the street, taken to the house. Kaylee and Maddie are being held against their will. The dog is going fucking crazy. A phone call's been made to Kopaka, who calls, and that's why his phone was wiped, people. Think about it. They do not want the Kopaka Kohlberger connection. And which is even funnier is when Judge John Judge says Kopaka instead of Kohlberger. Think about it. Let's make this make fucking sense. Because this is what's making sense. That a highly trained military individual with PTSD doing meth, selling drugs, living by students, going all over the country. Somebody that knew a lot about military operations, a security issue, a national security issue. And what did they do with that national security issue after he red rums at least two people? They swatted his ass and went after Kohlberger, the driver. And Kopaka knew that he could stick Kohlberger with this. It's just there's too many weird timing things that make it make sense. That's another thing too. Why are we getting so little of the 1112 road Cam and Mike? Why are we getting so little of that? I'd like to see that till about noon. Really, folks. Think about it. I'd like to see what was going on at 1111112. Count with my fingers. But I'd love to see more of that cam and audio. And why haven't we? I mean, there was a lot more going on in what they've shown us. And where's the rest of that fucking evidence? And that's another thing that bothers me about this fucking case. They've never proven Kohlberger guilty. They've never proven. So all they're going by is a man saying, I'm guilty. I did it. With no explanations, no nothing. I know he respected the military. I know he respected law enforcement. He respected his family, loved and loves his family. Then you have a judge that won't allow the things that would prove him innocent. And there you got it. And there you have it. I mean, I don't think it's as complex. Maybe as we're trying, there's so many players that makes it seem complex. But I think the actual things are fairly simple. I think there was a fight between some Sigma Chi boys and Ethan and Xana. That's almost fact, people. I mean, that is fact. We heard about it. We heard about the fight. But where did the fight happen? So I think here's what I think is that, you know, the frat boys did Xana and Ethan, and then they were having problems with Kaylee and Maddie. And I wouldn't doubt if Jack of Hearts was there. I wouldn't doubt it. He was called how many times? But if they knew, think about it, 2:30 is around the time that they were taken out. The phone calls start to Jack. All of a sudden, Kohlberger takes off, drives by Kopaka's, and is missing for 7 fucking minutes. Duh. And on the way home, again, around 7 minutes, cops lose him. They say, think about that. They say they lost him. Or is it they're trying to protect a national security interest? I think they knew exactly where he went. I think they knew exactly who did this. And I think they knew exactly what they were going to do, and that was swat him out. And then put the pin on the driver. That would be the easiest thing. This, to me, makes more sense than anything. How does Jonah Chapin fit into this? There's a connection. There's definitely a connection. And I still think there could be something with this black backpack that we've always heard about. But I'm not going to get into the confusing shit. That's what everybody needs to stop doing, is stop getting into the confusing shit that it either was done to confuse people or said to confuse us creators into just looking at the common sense things. Why would you hear both Brian's and Brent's names on audio? And Brian was out there. Out there. Kopaka's still here. I wouldn't doubt if some of those voices are Dylan's and Bethany's. Or at least Dylan's. Oh, and one of his emails was K-Pax. Anybody ever watch the movie K-Pax? I think that was the name of it. K-Pax. That was with Kevin Spacey. And he was an alien. Then he just disappeared at the end. That was one of his emails too. K-Pax. Holy crap. My private chat going crazy over there. I'm going to show you a couple other things too. And if I can think of some more stuff, because there's so much more to this. There's so much more to this. But I really think that we haven't seen any interviews of those people at the band field. Why? Why not? They never even interviewed him? Why do you think they were acting so weird? I mean, that one guy is just like looking around and he's looking. They're the ones that dropped. I'm sure of it. This guy's got Ethan's shirt on and Xana's shorts. I bet you he had Maddie's jacket. And he threw it before they started heading, before the cops got there, when they were heading across Banfield. He had just got done throwing that coat by the hydrant, and that's why he kept looking that way. They did that. They threw that jacket there. I mean, come on. It makes sense. They were right there at 3 a.m. There wasn't much time for anybody else. Who else could have thrown the jacket there? The Banfield boys. They seen it all go down. What about, I've talked about Jonah Chapin, Gage Forsberg, and the Cartel Man standing behind Kaylee and Maddie. Now, the Cartel Man is the man. I mean, he is the man. He's way above Jesse fucking Bailey. To the cartel, Jesse Bailey's a fucking peon. All they want is the fucking money he's getting. I don't give a fuck about him. Oh, wait a minute. So yeah, they're standing behind Kaylee and Maddie at the grub truck. Again, I'm telling you, there is drugs involved somehow, because someone from Sigma Chi gave a call to Mr. Kopaka. We need something done. What is Mr. Kopaka? Why is he going all over the fucking country? And I'm going to show this again. Show this real quick here. Whoops. So here's Ben Kopaka, and this is him, 36 years old, Lewiston, Idaho, Rockford. But look at the towns, people. Look at all this shit. Lewiston, Idaho, Rockford, Illinois, Fayette, North Carolina, Yakima, Washington, Bolingbrook, Illinois, Pablo, Colorado, Newman Lake, Washington, which, by the way, that's where that one house that David bought, like, right there. There's one of the places. Kendrick, Idaho, Evansdale, Iowa, Spokane Valley, Washington, Port Charlotte, Florida, Woodland Park, Colorado, Cottonwood, Alabama. What the hell? Cherry Valley, Illinois, Nashville, Tennessee, Oak Forest, Illinois, Hardsburg, Kentucky, Loves Park, Illinois, Pullman, Washington, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Manchester Park, Illinois, Spokane, Washington, Green Acres, Washington. Now tell me, what the fuck is going on? Then you have emails that suggest that he's into meth. That'd be the last person I'd want to run into, is somebody as trained as he is and have PTSD and he's doing meth. Would you want to run into that dude? I sure wouldn't want to run into that dude. And someone from Sigma Chi had a connection to Mr. Kopaka. Who it is, I have no idea. I just know there's a connection. And that he was called. It makes sense. Kohlberger leaving at, what was it, 2:46. Ethan and Zana were just taken out 16 minutes before that. They were having problems with Kaylee and Maddie. You know why? They weren't going to shut up. They weren't going to shut up. Are you kidding me? Kaylee and Maddie going to shut up after they seen what was going on to Zana and Ethan? And then what actually happened? So why did they bring me back into the house? They have to make it look like it happened at the house, like some crazy fuck went in there. And a crazy fuck did go in there and took out Kaylee and Maddie. Different weapons. Everything matches. Different weapons, even. Go. I have thought about this theory. I have looked at all the timing. I've thought of every little thing. And it all matches. Anyway. We're going to be looking a little more into it. trying to figure out, stuff. But I want to thank my investigators and Twat Waffle and Coco on this one. And but there's something I want to show you too. This now. Oh, this is pretty interesting too. Let me show you. Let's see if I can get to it. Now, so Zana Ethan supposedly left Sigma Chi around 1 o'clock. Let's take a listen to this. And this is from somebody new also. I ran across it and I didn't want to go digging through all my shit, so I'm just going to use their stuff. Yeah, hold on a second here. There we go. But just to show you something here, and this is sound from Linda Lane. This is one I've never heard of before, Nicole Casey. I don't know if you know her or not. It's brand new to me. I don't think I got her in the description either, so I'm going to plug her pretty hard here. Nicole Casey. She's only got 800 subscribers, but she got 12,000 views on this 5 days ago with only 800 subscribers. That's pretty amazing. But here is 1:16 in the morning, people. Okay, this is 1:16 in the morning. This is what I'm telling you when Ethan and Zana are walking home from Sigma Chi. You can hear voices like not really hollering, but talking loud, but from a distance. Keep listening. And I agree 1,000% that that's what they were trying to do, was to drown out what was happening. God, yeah, I will, Deborah.
between the actual text that I put up on the screen and a lot of them right near the text that I put on the screen, you.
Now, what I'm saying is that's when it started. That's when it started. They were pretty much tortured for an hour, people, before they actually. And you know what? I think one was still alive while being brought back in the house. And that was the whimpering and the crying and the thud. And I think that was Xana. Now, how does the cartel fit into this? How does like Jonah Chapin and Gage Forsberg and the cartel guy I've named before and I won't ever name again. He's back a few shows ago. If you want to know his name, you can go look for it. All three of them were standing behind Kaylee and Maddie, and I find that really just too coincidental, too weird. And Gage Forsberg, like taking video, like he was taking snapshots or video of Kaylee and Maddie. It was just very, very strange. And so do they fit in somehow? And that black backpack, very possible, very, very possible. But there's two different things going on here. There's two different things going on. And that's the confusing part. What was all involved with Xana and Ethan? Was it just the frat thing? Or was there more? Or was there more? But the timing of this all matches. And even, you know, I was saying Molly was involved and Jimmy. I don't know about that anymore. Because it's just too much coincidence. Those minutes missing at Kopaka's house on the way there and on the way back from Mr. Kohlberger. And then Mark B proving that somebody got in Kohlberger's car before it sped away. So Kohlberger was driving around waiting for Kopaka to come out of the house. And when he does, he gets in and he shuts the door, floor it, and they take off. And you can hear that. You can hear it. You can hear the door shut. And if you haven't seen Mark B's video on it, go look at his channel, Mark B. And Deborah says, tell me they were an intricate part of this, but not pertinent as the reminder. Yeah. And I thought they were too. I haven't made up my mind on that yet, Angela, because I don't know how they would fit in unless they knew Kopaka. Unless they knew Kopaka. But that's around. That's a tough one. That's why there's so many moving pieces to this case. And for them to be done and over with by New Year's. I don't think so. I don't give a shit how if you got 50 fucking investigators. It's fucking like 300 on fucking YouTube going at it and investigating. They haven't come up with the exact fucking thing that happened. But I know one thing. You can't take away that 7 minutes there and 7 minutes on the way back. Rory Bratt and I nailed that a long time ago. Way before Pav, way before he had channel, way before many had channels. We knew about that. I mean, we've dug in every fucking corner. If anybody's followed this channel, we've dug in every fucking corner, every fucking rabbit hole. Then you get to a point where you just say, something's got to make sense out of all this. Something has to make sense. And you start thinking, maybe it's not as confusing as we try to make it be. And maybe Kohlberger was the driver. And with Kopaka being dead, what has he got? What has he got? They're protecting him. A national security interest. What have they got? Know what I mean? I'll be right back here. I got a dog out here. Okay, so I can't remember what's all on. Let's listen to a little more.
Hear a bunch of crying, struggling, and kind of like side conversations between people. But what we have is we have multiple female and male bystanders that are pleading with these boys to stop the attack. We also have frat boys that are singing a chant to try to...
Okay, did you hear that? And that's the thing. And that's why I'm saying there's probably about 25 people involved, 25 to 30 people involved, 20 to 30. Let's just say that. And what I mean involved, I don't mean involved like in the actual, but seeing what happened. Seeing what happened. And they're scared to come forward. Because you know what? They didn't call the police, people. They didn't call the police. Nobody did. None of the fucking 20 to 30 people standing out there called the fucking police. Let's keep listening.
Drown out Xana's screams. This whole attack is roughly 7 minutes. 7 minutes is all it took to attack Ethan and Xana. I have a feeling that Ethan was being restrained by 1 or 2 guys, probably 2, because we must remember that Ethan was 6'4". He's not a small dude. So I think that 2 other boys were...
And that's another thing. If can you imagine? Try to imagine this, people. All right, try to imagine this. Ethan, 6'4". Steve G said, "Oh, there was a hell of a battle down there." Well, we've seen pictures of the room. Not really, no. Can you imagine a 6'4" guy and Kohlberger at what 6? They say 6 foot, but I know he's taller than that. And they were fighting in that room. That place would have been torn to fucking shreds. That place would have been, I mean, the drapes and shit, all that crap would have probably been knocked down. TVs on the floor. I mean, it would have been total chaos. Fighting for their lives. That didn't happen in that fucking house. Here's another thing. Why did they have to use so much amido black? Why did they spray that shit all over the fucking house? Looking for blood? Oh, you mean you can't fucking see it? Oh, you mean you're backing up? You're backing up that it was clean? Now, all that amido black and all they find is a one shoe print by Dylan's door. Come on, give me a fucking break. Maybe it's because it wasn't done at the fucking house, like I've said since fucking almost day one. Everybody's the house. No. I want to listen to some more of this.
Holding Ethan down while Xana was attacked by David and Adam, maybe even more boys. There's one other boy's name that we hear in this audio that is said in a way that is showing that somebody's trying to get them to stop doing something, and that's Pete. I'm not sure that the parts that I'm going to show you say it, but there is one girl that says Pete very, very authoritatively.
This is the quiet night, folks. You hear them thuds? You hear those thuds? Listen to those thuds. Boom. Boom, boom. Listen to that shit. Someone is getting slammed around. No. Fast forward this here a little bit. Let's keep going. Another big thud. Another big thud. They're getting the shit knocked. They're getting the fuck knocked out of them. Why? Listen to all those thuds. Someone driving by. And people say, oh, hold on a second. People say, oh, you're too good to be from the house way over. It wasn't in the fucking house. Fuck, I get tired of that shit. It wasn't done in the house. That's why you can hear this shit coming from this camera. That female yelled help.
Now, this last part is very, very important, and I'm going to play it for you guys a few times so that you can hear it for yourselves, because it's proof that it was witnessed and that the severity of it was known by a few people. I went ahead and cut out an entire minute so that you didn't have to listen to pretty much silent air, but a minute after where I just paused it is the very, very important information that you're about to hear.
Okay, again, this is, I'll show you who this is again here. This is Nicole Casey. Nicole Casey. She's only got 800 subscribers. But like I said, she got 12,000 views on this, 604 comments. So yeah, this is a very good video. I subbed to her and liked it. And yeah, this is pretty well done. Let's take a listen to the last part. Comes loud volume. That is definitely witnessed. Let's listen to this again, people. Did you see what was said there? Did you see what was said there? Look what was said right there. And that proves what I've been trying to say. Right? Let's see, where is it? Did I go too far? Let's see where it is. here it comes. Is there something else there at the house? In other words, they're fucking outside, people. They're outside. Was there things going on at the house? Oh, yeah. I'm sure there was. Yeah, Deborah, it doesn't go to 140 on that video. Oh, not here, Twat. No, I don't know about Coco, but yeah, and that's another thing that how can someone kill someone and get all bloody supposedly, but Brian literally covers his own toilet in his own apartment in toilet paper before he sits down. I don't know if you guys noticed that on that picture or not. There's toilet paper on the toilet seat. The way my mom taught me when we go to public places. And that was in his own home. There is some other stuff here too. Yeah, we still need to know about this right here. I mean, and like, what's the deal? Why haven't we heard anything about this ever since it came out? I'll show you this. You've all seen it, and we've all wondered, what the hell? What the hell, people? What the hell? During the course of my investigation, it became known to me that Bethany Funk has information material to the charges against Mr. Kohlberger. Portions of information Miss Funk is exculpatory to the defendant. Ms. Funk's information is unique to her experiences. It cannot be provided by another witness. Mrs. Funk's information is unique to her experiences and cannot be provided by another witness. Bethany Funk resides in the state of Nevada, and it is necessary to subpoena this witness because the witness's testimony is material and necessary to this case. Material. What do they mean by material there? Okay. So, definition of material is the substance that makes up a physical object or the ideas, data, or information that can form the basis of a work. So it can be data or information that can form the basis of a work, or it can mean a physical object. It can also refer to fabric or textiles, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But yeah, we've never heard anything else about that. Nothing. No explanation. No nothing. Well, what the hell was it? What the hell was it that you filed a document in a legal court of law? Know what I mean? I mean, that's just crazy. Okay. Some other things. I'm going to show you a picture of, okay, trigger warning on this. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. If you don't like the sight of BLOOD, don't look. That's all I'm going to say. Trigger warning. Whoop. There we go. Do I have to explain anything more? Do I have to explain anything more? There was imprints on Kaylee's face. These are what caused those imprints, people. These right here. She was hit with a golf club. She was hit with a golf club. Different weapons. My heart bleeds for Mom, and Zana and Ethan getting taken out in the street like that in front of everybody. And I mean, and I even got ideas on how they made it look more like it was done in the house, but it's gross. But Kopaka would have known how to do that. Kopaka would have known how to do that. And how many people could go and do something like that? And one of the main things too is where one of the cuts were. What do you call that? Twat waffle. What is that again? What is that? What is that called? That, like right here? It's like a major artery or something. I know I have my carotid arteries because I got stents in both of them. But they hit something down here that it's almost like a precision type thing. It would have to be somebody that knew what the hell they were doing. And that's what makes me think, it isn't just, it wasn't just kids. It wasn't just kids. Okay, so anyway, I had to laugh at this video, and I started watching this last night, and I even I got on my phone from my TV just to comment on it, because it made me laugh. So here we go, and this is from Unfiltered Lucky, and I don't know if you've seen this yet or not. Oh my God, it's to me it's hilarious. He did a great job on this. I'll show this real quick. Boy, isn't my computer nice and fast now? It's me that's slow. Here we go. Common sense. That's what we need to talk, people.
Hey everyone, it's Lucky with Unfiltered Lucky. And today I want to talk about the Idaho 4 case. Now, I wasn't really planning on making this particular video today. I was actually going to talk about Bethany Funk, but we'll save that for this weekend because today I want to talk about these selfies of Bryan Kohberger that were just recently released. A lot of you have reached out to me in the comments and through messages asking me what I think about these selfies. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. Now, I'll be honest, I really wasn't even planning on making a video about these photos because, in my opinion, they're rather insignificant.
Okay. I wanted to tell you it's the subclavian artery branches from the aorta. You have to know what you're doing to hit those people. That's trained kind of stuff. That isn't some guy by the name of Bryan Kohberger who was a PhD student. No, that's somebody that knows what they're doing and very precise. Left side.
Now, I know that mainstream media will try to push these photos as if they make Bryan Kohberger look like some type of evil person. I mean, I've heard them described as, chilling and disturbing and that he looked like a monster. But in my opinion, when I look at these photos, that's not what I think at all. I was watching this interview yesterday with Jared and Heather Barnhart from Celebrite. They were the experts who were working on gathering information from Bryan Kohberger's cell phone. Now, they had a lot to say. Jared Barnhart said that there was so much information in this cell phone that it could have kept them busy for a year. So there was a lot of information in there. They were talking about his selfies and they were talking about his text messages and basically his correspondence between him and his mom and dad. So they had a lot to say. But one thing that they didn't say after going through all of this information is that they found concrete evidence that Bryan Kohberger committed this crime.
No, Elizabeth.
They couldn't say that.
It wasn't.
So out of all of this information in Bryan Kohberger's cell phone, they were not able to come up with something solid that Bryan Kohberger was connected to this crime. All that they came up with was selfies and text messages between him and his mom and dad. So I thought that was rather interesting. Now, something else that they talked about was that Bryan Kohberger had taken all of these photos of himself, and they thought it was odd that he didn't send these photos out to anyone, that he didn't upload these photos, that he kept them for his own personal viewing. And they thought that was really strange, which kind of shocked me a little bit because to me, that doesn't seem strange at all. I mean, when I look at these photos, I see progress pics, and they're very common. People who are working out or losing weight or going through a body transformation very often take progress pics. They do this in order to document how far along that they've come. So a lot of times they'll take these photos, and of course they're not sending them out to anyone. These are their progress pics, so they can document their progress. So why would they send these out to anyone? Why would you post these on any social networks? These are actually photos that would be for yourself. So right. I was kind of surprised that they were so shocked that Bryan Kohberger didn't send out his progress pics. And to me, that's exactly what.
Okay, people, what the hell does this picture have to do with this case? So he's looking at his backside with a new pair of jeans on. What the? Really? Really? Ooh, scary.
These were. I thought that it was kind of strange that the media even released these photos.
Right?
Because what would be the purpose of releasing these selfies other than to try to portray Bryan Kohberger as this evil person?
Yep.
Which, in my opinion, none of these photos made him look evil. Right. Now, these were his progress pics. They talked about a few other photos where he was holding up a piece of paper that had a date, his name, and then some letters and numbers, which is a code.
Tim Draper first invested in Bitcoin with.
Okay, so listen to this. It's a code. Now, check this out.
And it was only $6. He invested in Tesla before anyone.
So these are used when you're joining groups. And this group, they want you to prove that you're a human being. So what they do is they send you a code and you take a picture with a piece of paper that has the information on it. And that way they can confirm that you are in fact a human being. That's all these photos are. You know, when you look at the one photo where he has like that little sore on his knuckle, they make it sound like it's this major injury. Like this is a wound. And really, this is just a really small sore on his knuckle. So they're basically blowing everything out of proportion when it comes to these selfies. I've heard them say that, you know, it looks so weird that he was posing in those jeans and, you know, taking a picture of his backside. And it's just so strange. And it's like, was it only strange because it was a man? Because a lot of females take these photos all the time. So are they trying to say that maybe these photos are strange because he's a dude? I mean, to me, this looked like Bryan Kohberger trying on a pair of jeans and wanting to see what they looked like from the back, because obviously you can't spin your head all the way around and look for yourself. So you take a photo. I mean, it almost seems like these people in mainstream media have never used a cell phone or have never taken selfies, because they make it sound like these very common selfies are so disturbing. But in my opinion, there's nothing disturbing about these photos. I feel as though they're pretty common. Now, there are a few photos where Bryan Kohberger can be seen clowning around with the camera. He's making some funny faces.
All right.
But again, I feel like this is pretty common. I mean, if law enforcement went through the majority of our cell phones, there would likely be a few embarrassing photos. So I just don't feel as though these selfies are evil in any way, as they've been described in the mainstream media. I feel like it's a reach, because in my opinion, mainstream media will put information out there and then add a narrative to it in order to make Bryan Kohberger look a certain way.
Yep.
You know, and I feel like that's what they did with these photos. It's just kind of odd to me that we see a lot of information on mainstream media, and they've come out and they've said, you know, Bryan Kohberger, he already came out and he pled guilty. It's over. But if you notice,
oh my God,
they still continue to talk about this case nonstop. They still continue to present information and add a narrative to it to try to convince us that Bryan Kohberger committed this crime without a doubt. You know, so to me, it's just odd that they'll take something as simple as progress pictures and turn them into this dark, sinister, diabolical thing, when that's really not what it is, in my opinion.
Great video, Mr.
So, you know, we're talking about photos, and I would like to talk about a photo that I would like to see, and that would be a photo of this knife sheath.
Yes.
I would like to see a photo of this USMC K-bar knife sheath.
Yes.
Why haven't we seen this photograph yet? I mean, this is the crown jewel of the prosecution? Why wouldn't they show us their main piece of evidence? The evidence that they were going to use to put Bryan Kohberger in front of a firing squad. It seems as though we would have seen this photo. I mean, we're seeing photos of him flexing in his bathroom mirror and him trying on jeans. We're seeing all kinds of other photos. We're seeing a lot of documents. We're seeing a lot of body cam videos. But one thing we're not seeing is a photo of the knife sheath. So why is that? Why are we not seeing the information that law enforcement says is the proof that Bryan Kohberger committed this crime? I mean, I almost feel as though there's a conclusion to this case, but technically the prosecution and these investigators didn't really solve this crime at all. Nope. And they still haven't presented information, in my opinion, that would prove that Bryan Kohberger did commit this crime without a doubt. So those are my thoughts about these selfies. In my opinion, they don't make Bryan Kohberger look evil. They don't make him look, chilling. And they definitely don't make him look like he would be capable of committing a quadruple homicide. I mean, it seems strange that mainstream media wants to keep pushing this information. And it can be something as simple as a selfie, and they can turn it into something that sounds so horrific.
One heart attack scare is enough. My dad already had one warning from his doctor about his belly fat and was trying everything to lose weight.
But when you're looking at it with your own eyes, you can see for yourself that these photos are harmless.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like a lot of the information has gone in this case. They've taken this information and basically put their own spin on it and tried to push the narrative that Bryan Kohberger committed this crime without a doubt.
What are they doing? What are they doing? Are they protecting the national security interest? Is that what they're doing? Because somebody very knowledgeable about how to take people out did Kaylee and Maddie. Zan and Ethan were beat to shit. They were just beat to shit for an hour. And in my opinion, and these are all my opinions, of course, and speculations and whatever everybody knows my channel. But I mean, it does come to a point that you can only take so much, and it comes to a point where you have to look at things and use common sense of what really happened and try to figure it out with common sense and not try to go down so many rabbit holes. I mean, I've been down every fucking rabbit hole, everyone. I don't think there's a rabbit hole I haven't been down, but I'm sure I'll find another one. And Twat Waffle says, but either one of those arteries. So if you get STABBED under the left clavicle, that is the subclavian artery which branches from the aorta. Under the right clavicle is the come on, you know where I went to school. Brachycephalic artery. I said it. And then which bleeds faster. No left subclavian artery branches from the aorta. Right subclavian artery branches from the brachial artery. Waffle said he's wearing girls' jeans. Okay. But either artery will cause bleed outs, of course. Left side is just faster because of the aorta and heart. So we're learning a lot here tonight. I think as a family that we do need to start looking at things with common sense, and that's what I think of everything that you've heard, and think of the facts that they're giving us too, like the timeline and all this, their timeline of things. Their timeline doesn't make any sense. And just showing what happens like at Linda Lane and what you can hear from there. And then you got the Banfield people, and one's wearing Ethan's shirt that Zana used to like wear around, and her shorts on over some white sweatpants. I mean, come on, man. 1 + 1 = 2. They were taken out in the fucking street. And it was some Sigma Chi boys, some frat boys, maybe not just Sigma Chi either. I'm saying I'll just say frat boys. And I think we all know the names, and we've heard the names. And I think that's what happened there. And they got carried into the house. A phone call was made. They couldn't control Kaylee and Maddie. That's another thing too, is I don't even want to think what they were doing. But it makes the most sense, and it makes the most sense if that's Brian's car, that he was the driver, and maybe that's another reason why he pled guilty, is that Cy Ray might have finally said, he might have got the data that he needed and said, I agree, he was by the house. Doesn't mean that he was inside the house doing anything. Not when you have proof now. And I showed it in my last video. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I think it was the last one. Or just go watch Mark B's photo or video of the car stopping in front of 1122, going around the corner, stopping just for a quick fucking half a second, like, and you can hear the door shut, and then he takes off. He picked up somebody, people. He didn't commit this crap. And what does he do? The dude is dead. The dude is dead, and I guarantee you, he said something. I guarantee you, he said something. That Kohlberger did it. They were after Kopaka. I guarantee you, they were after Kopaka. And the first thing that happens, they swat him out, and the first thing they do is go after Kohlberger. I don't know. 1 = 2. 7 minutes missing right by his house on the way there. 7 minutes missing on the way back. 1 + 1 = 2. We got to start using common sense on this stuff. And the common sense says the audio isn't lying. One thing they didn't do, they didn't come out and say, Linda Lane is a bunch of bullshit. Someone messed with it. Someone messed with the audio cam from 1112. They never said that either. So things to think about, right? Yeah. Anyway, that's what I got for you tonight. I got more, but I can't even think of what it is. Where'd that go? Did I load that up? Yeah, this right here, people. We all know this picture, don't we? Do we not all know this picture? Why would he take a picture like that? Why? Why the I? I for Idaho, Illinois. What else is there? Oh, God. Jesus Christ, you guys back there. Okay, yeah. But we all know that picture. And there's a lot to that picture in my eyes. In my eyes. Son and Ethan get taken out around 2:30. Phone calls start at what, 2:26? Right around the time they're getting taken out. Right around that same time, all that commotion that you hear going on, even after what we just listened to. There's a lot more all the way up till 2:30. And then the phone calls start from Kaylee and Maddie. And Maddie's jacket ends up by the fire. Common sense. Happened outside. I don't think Kaylee and Maddie happened outside. I don't think. That could have been too. But I think that was done inside by, and you know what? When that phone call was made to Mr. Kopaka at probably, let's say, what time was it? They were taken out around 2:30. So, and then I think there was a scrap or something going on with Kaylee and Maddie, probably outside. And they start running back to the house, and someone tried to grab that black jacket and ends up in their hands, and they end up, when they took off, right by where the police were, but they got there a little too late. They got there too fucking late, people. They got there too late. Because that jacket was just thrown there. I believe, in my opinion, by those kids crossing over Banfield. And they had to go over into Banfield to get them to come back to that car. And then one of them has Ethan's shirt on. And what appears to be Xana's shorts over his white sweatpants or whatever the hell they were. And why were they getting the hell out of there? Because Kaylee and Maddie were probably putting up a pretty good fight to do something. But they were probably scared to call the police. And they probably didn't even know how bad it really was. But they knew it was bad enough that they wanted help from Jack. And Kopaka's called at what? 2:35. 235, 240 maybe. And then guess who takes off from his house? Mr. Kohberger. 7 minutes. They didn't know where he was for 7 minutes. They say they don't know where he was, right? They say they don't know where he was. Anyway, what else? Wasn't there some other shit? You know, this case is just, it's so wild that it's just, oh, yeah. Or, no, I read that one. Oh, I did want to show this, though. And I was one of the first ones to notice this. And I don't know if you know that or not, but you can go back and look on, you've seen it on other channels now, but if you go look at mine, I was one of the first, if not the first, to show. In Bethany's room. You know, this picture bothers me. This picture bothers me. And I've showed this picture, and I've showed, you know, the blinds that are down on the floor, and this broken thing here, this door open, this drawer. Something happened in this room too. Something did Bethany and like Kaylee or Maddie get into it or something? I don't know. You know, this is the shit that we don't know. We just know that this is very, very, very fucking strange. I mean, why isn't this at least closed? She could have, you know, you just tilt it up a little ways and close the door. She didn't even do that. It was broken. And then you have these two slats from these on the floor. Pictures always bothered me. Dylan and Bethany. They know a lot. I do believe, in my opinion, that Bethany didn't want nothing to fucking do with them. That's my opinion. That's why she stood way over by that pole and was looking over there away from everybody. I think she probably knows what happened, knows who did it. Something happened that would be unique to her experience that nobody else would know. That kind of bothers me, what that is, because it's something that nobody else would know but her. So that's a strange thing. A strange thing that we may never fucking know. And that's what's so hard about this case. But when you look at it with common sense, you know, you see a picture. You see this picture, right? You see this picture, and you get to the point where you don't want any of the other junk around. That's where I'm getting. I don't want to hear a lot of the other junk because it actually takes away from what probably really happened. Were they being watched at the grub truck? Very, very possible. Very possible. Because think about it. Think about the timing again. What time was it? 1:35, something like that. 1:40 when they took off to go home. What was happening at that time, people? what was happening at that time. Ethan and Zana were getting the fucking shit knocked out of them. And that's why you hear all that commotion when the DoorDash driver dropped them. Not the DoorDash driver, but the private driver dropped them off. And right as soon as they got out of the car, you hear all kinds of hollering and commotion. So it started early. There was about an hour that anybody could have called 911. Anybody could have called 911 and nobody did. But you have fraternities and sororities, and I'll tell you what. I mean, they sign things. I mean, they have rules, man. They have rules about when and what to call the cops and all that shit. Plus, they were drinking at Sigma Chi, which they're not supposed to do. People were scared to call 911. And that's what I have for you today. Just gonna check one more time, make sure I got everything. Because I got a couple of different folders here. I want to make sure that this is all done. Which one is that one about now? Oh, that's that. Okay. Yep. Oh, okay. So there we go. That's what I got for you today. And I love you guys all. And I hope you have an awesome weekend. Tomorrow night, Revelation Tarot and Sue will be here live. Or no, tomorrow day. It's 4:00 tomorrow. So it's not 6:00. It's not 7:00. It's 4:00 Central Daylight Time tomorrow. Okay, Twat Waffle. You take care, girl. Love you. Okay, Coke. Love you, girls. I want to thank my producers and Twat and Coco on this, and I want to thank my mods, especially for keeping the chat good and clean. And I thank all my subs, the chatters and non-chatters alike. I am going to end with Twat Waffle singing though, because you know why? Oh, I hope this goes through. Did I check this? I think I did. Because she's the fastest girl in town. Rock and roll.
Thank you.
Can't help it by the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to. Now when I talk to God, I knew he'd understand. Said to stick behind me, I'll be your guiding hand. Don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to.